Welcome back to the Tipsy Tailgate. We're going to do a little bit of a Stanley Cup first round update midway through the series here, or through the entire playoffs, rather. A lot of these series just finishing their fourth game today. A lot of them finished their third yesterday. We're going to touch upon our initial picks, see if those are still on track, and then see if there are any surprises from this bunch that maybe we looked past and maybe a team that we didn't give enough credit to. So if you guys want to reintroduce yourselves, welcome back to the pod.
I'll go first. Jack or John Tufts, Ben's brother. It's always a pleasure being on the pod, and I'm just really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm Camp. Always lucky to be on the podcast, part of the Tipsy Tailgate media crew as a guest. They call me in for the big shows, of course, because, well, I'm the best, so it makes sense. But no, I'm just happy to be here again. Yeah, I'm ready to talk about some of these picks and talk about how Benny's an idiot. So,
Yeah, we'll see Benny struggling early with these pick selections coming up. But Ben, so why don't you lead us off? Let's
Well,
get
I'm happy you said that. I'm actually doing pretty well for myself.
all right.
My bracket and my picks for last episode, which, obviously were my picks for the bracket, as I stay pretty consistent on this show. So let's lead it off with the Bees. A little bit of panic after game 2, at least on my end. I don't know if you guys felt the same way. Definitely not as panicked as me, given that I'm a psychopath. But I was very nervous after game 2, but going to Florida, snagging 2 straight games, they're going to finish this in 5. There's no way they lose in game 5. I don't know if Bergey's going to play. They might just save him at this point, having shown that you can just kick their ass twice in their home barn. So I don't know if they go with Bergey or Kretsch. I think they might just let them both sit out, let them have a good week to rest. But a standout for me, I'm going to go with Taylor Hall and Brad Marchand for the series, 2 big standouts. How are you guys feeling about this series?
I feel good about the series. I think it's going as good as well, the first 2 games, Bruins were terrible. We were very lucky to come out of it tied 1-1 with the Panthers. I felt like they took it to us. I thought the goaltending from the Panthers was a little bit shaky. I thought Olmark's been really good. He looks hurt, but he's still playing unbelievable, makes a ton of saves today. He made a bunch of saves before he tried to fight Mac Chuck. That was fun to watch. But yeah, I'd say Taylor Hall has been unbelievable. Charlie Coyle's been unbelievable. McAvoy's running people over. I've been really happy with the way they're playing. I would see them doing it, getting this done in 5. I know that Patrice Bergeron, they said if he's ready, playing in game 5, and they said that Krejci is most likely out for game 5. So if Bergeron isn't ready for game 5, or if he doesn't play, I'm gonna be a little bit more worried about it. Krejci, I think, is just I don't know what's going on with him, but doesn't seem too bright of a future with him the rest of the way. But Jack, how are you feeling about the series?
I think like you guys both said, the series really it didn't go to a great start, obviously, but they've kind of regathered a little more control. They're in the driver's seat now, up 3-1. There's a stat where I think 90% of teams up 3-1 end up winning the series, so that's huge advantage to them, obviously. And this Florida team, something I want to touch on with them is the amount of I don't want to call it dirty.
Oh, no. They're a dirty, cheap team. I'm happy you brought it up because I was about to. I'll let you run with it, but they're a dirty and cheap team.
Yeah, I 1,000% agree with you. And the way that this whole series is transpired, the first 5 minutes of the first game, they tried to kill like 4 people. Pastrnak went into the boards from behind to the very, very beginning of that game. I don't know if you guys remember. That was crazy. I was like, I jumped up. But anyways, the one more thing I'll touch on that is Matt Kachuk is such a skilled hockey player, but he's acting like Rafi Torres in this series. He's like you don't got to be the goon. You're the 109-point guy for the Florida Panthers, second in MVP voting. Why are you stepping down on Rafi Torres? You got the depth guys for that. He needs to score more. I get it. The Marchand effect too, 2011. We remember that. Little rat in him. But same time, the guy scored 109 points. Marchand that year scored what, 33?
50,
Like maybe
max in the
50.
regular season.
He was as early. He played, honestly, Benny, I think that year he played like 2 games under the official rookie year or something. It was
Yeah,
I don't know.
He started on the fourth
Anyways,
line
I think
too.
you're right about that. I think you're right about the amount of games he played. And even if he did play the full 82, he would have only gotten like 50 points. I think we did the math on that one day that he was obviously. I know that we have all said this to each other, and a lot of Bruins fans have said this as well. No other player in NHL history has seen a bigger progression throughout their career than Brad Marchand. It's incredible that he went from a borderline goon at one point to now a consistent 90 to 100 point scorer. It's insane what he's been able to do.
Yeah, what I think the Panthers are doing is like, obviously we're Bruins fans. You see it a lot. Is 2011 the Bruins, and through 2013 you saw that team when there was chaos was when they were at their best. They love to cause chaos and get into the BS and all that. And this Panthers team seems to have the same similarity where they get going when they're throwing the body around and they're getting people into the mud. The thing with the Bruins this year, you look at the 2011 when we played the Canucks. They tried to get in the shit with us. They made a mistake by getting into the mud with us, and we win the Stanley Cup that year. You go to 2013 with the same team, the Bruins, that wanted to get into the mud, and Chicago was too skilled, and they had already won a cup, so they understood what was going on and they stayed out of it. Well, that's what you're seeing with the Bruins this year, or right now with the Panthers. The Panthers are trying to get us to get into the shit, and you saw for the first two games, there's a lot of penalties going back and forth. We were getting into it with them. We weren't playing well. We were playing to their game, and now these last two games, our team's kind of stopped getting into it. They can't keep up. They know they can't keep up. Their only thing they can do is try to get us off our game, get into the mud with them again. And I just don't see it happening. I think our team is just too old, way too mature. They know they have the leadership. They've been there. They've done it. So I think that the series is done after 5. And I don't think there's any chance that the Panthers have game 5. I don't even know who they're going to put in net. Both goalies have been pretty mediocre. So it's going to be tough.
I thought Bobrovsky was horrible today. Like, really bad.
The puck that went in and out of his glove. That
so
one
bad.
Oh man, you gotta you're a two-time Vezina guy, man. You gotta bear down if you want that starting job back. I bet they go back to the other guy, and I bet we go with Swayman. I just give Ullmark a break. You know, you were up 3-1 in the series. Why not? They're both great. I don't know. Just my opinion. What do you think?
No, I agree.
I think it's gonna depend on how Ullmark is projecting, obviously, this next day and the rest of the night. I don't think he's healthy. I don't think he has been healthy the whole series. But at this point, I think you might as well just let him finish it out. And then he gets his rest if you just beat them in game 5, and then you have another week to rest up. And then if he's not projecting well for the next series, then you go to Swayman. I'm not a fan of the switch in the middle of the series when you have everything going your way. Why change up the momentum when you don't need to?
Yeah, I was saying more purely because of I don't know if you guys noticed this, like Ullmark just looked kind of like sad during the game. I don't know, like his face,
his body language
and everything, his body language, you know, he looked like he was hurt, like he tweaked something, you know, maybe just give him the game.
Yeah.
Because we want to close this series out the next game too, because we need that little extended little break here with all these guys out. So I think you got to go for it this game, then you go from there. But
yeah, I don't want to give them any life. And then I also want to add to the Panthers being goons, essentially, what Jack was saying earlier, because I could not agree with him more. Like Tkachuk, as you just said, he's a superstar player. And I understand that physicality and getting into the shit and being a borderline type player is a part of his game. He's been straight up cheap. It's not even like playing good physical hard hockey, which is what I expected from him. He's been legitimately dirty. That cross check that he threw on Hathaway at the end of the first period today in game 4, like that was egregious. Like that's really bad. He easily broke one of Hathaway's ribs. And then he had Hathaway, one of the toughest guys on the Bruins, grimacing on the ground. So I think that alone should tell you just how cheap the hit was. And then Gudas. I mean, I kind of make a joke about Gudas being a goon because that's what he is. But he is so cheap. It's insane how cheap this team is.
Doug Gudas he's a notorious, just kind of, I don't want to call him a loser because he's in the NHL. He's had a great career. He's not a loser, right? But this he's kind of a loser the way he plays. That's all he's got. He's got the size advantage of most guys. Like, I'm honestly glad it kind of leaned off Marchand because Marchand was getting mugged.
He was going to get hurt.
I was like, oh my gosh, the Bruins are going to get hurt again. There it is. But Tough out this next game, shut it down, and hopefully we can get it the hell out of this series because, like you said, they're a bunch of goons. They're all goons.
Yeah, if you can, I think more than anything, obviously winning the series is most important, but winning the series and keeping your team intact, given how hurt it already is, I think that's the main goal from here on out. So we all had Bruins in 5 before the series, correct?
Yes, yes.
All right, so I think we're all projecting well on this one. I think obviously we all think that's going to happen. So let's move on to another series here. Their game took place before the Bees today at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Islanders. I have a lot to say on this one. I think I'm going to take the lead on this one. I really thought the Islanders were going to be, on paper, I thought they would be more competitive. I think if you actually watch the game, you'll see that they actually are a really competitive team in this series and that they've actually gotten screwed out of a game or two in the series and they've actually outplayed the Hurricanes. If you don't just look at the shots, if you don't just look at all the stupid little stats and metrics, the Islanders have played really good hockey and exactly how I expected them to play. One stat I want to share with you guys. Typically in the Stanley Cup playoffs, you'd like to think that not playoff, power plays even out, right? Like, isn't that something that we'd all want in a series that roughly, especially when you're playing the same style of physicality, you'd like to see power plays even out a bit. In this series, Carolina has had 19 power plays and the Islanders have had 12. 19 to 12. That's egregious. And put that over a 4-game stretch. That's fucking 5 power plays a game to what? 3? So you're getting 2 more power plays than them each game. And that includes a game in which Carolina got 6 power plays. I believe this was game 2 that they got 6 power plays and the Islanders got 0. Carolina high sticks someone on New York in game 2 in overtime. No call. Immediately leads to a goal. So I think this has turned into a bit of a ref show. I don't know if you guys agree at all.
No, I definitely agree. I think it's been pretty brutal. Listen, I think the Carolina Hurricanes are probably the better team here. I think the Islanders are built for the playoffs, but they're not. And it sucks that their power play is terrible, right? Like 19 to 12. Well, if the Bruins power play, let's take Oilers, for example. The Oilers have a 30% power play. So usually if they're only getting 12 power plays and the Hurricanes are getting 19, you're like, they're going to score on 30% of them. It's not going to be a huge difference. But when you know going into the series how bad the Islanders power play is, which is on them, but knowing that their power play sucks and then Carolina's is really good, for the refs to be calling it that way, they're throwing the series basically. I mean, there's no chance. You have no chance. You can't expect your team to kill 5 penalties a game and not score on any of them, and only have 3 for themselves. Like I think it's been pretty bad today. It was pretty bad too. I really thought the Islanders were going to pull this out. I don't think it's going to happen anymore. If they could have gone back to Carolina 2-2, I would have been saying that the Hurricanes can't win on the road, which was the same story last year.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight was a big win for today. It was a big win for them. So, I'm excited to see what happens with them and whoever they're going to face in the next round, because I think they're going to make it, obviously. I'm excited to see what happens with that one. But Jack's probably going to want to touch on the power plays too.
I love Carolina in this series. I have them in 6, I believe. And, Brent Burns is having a good series, guys, right now. And I'm a big Brent Burns guy. All right. So he's above a point a game and he's like a +4, I believe. So he's going to be a big piece for them going forward. But overall, I think Carolina gets the series done. I think you guys are right about the calls. There's definitely been several calls that have been bullshit, for lack of a better word. There's favoritism here. So, but with that being said, I think at the same time, the Islanders, hockey in general is a very momentum-based game. And the Islanders have just had some really bad momentum moments throughout the series that have caused, instead of them winning the first game when they were up 3-2, they let up the goal in the third and then they lose in overtime. That one has to be gut wrenching for them. You know what I mean? So I think it's a combination of both, but I think Carolina wraps it up quick. I think it's probably a gentleman's sweep for this one, to be honest, guys. But
yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that one. I initially had the Islanders in 7 before the playoffs started, but I mean, it's hard to play 2 teams at once, and that seems like what the Islanders have to do right now. They're playing against the refs and the Hurricanes. And I'm really not like it drives me crazy even though I do it myself sometimes, it drives me crazy when a fan base is like, "Oh, the refs did this, the refs did that." Even though I'm a bit of a hypocrite on that, I do that quite a bit myself. The Islanders are actually getting screwed, and like, I mean, I don't really feel bad about saying it in this instance because it's from an outsider's perspective, and I really have um, no horse in the race here. So it's not like I'm biased one way or the other. The Islanders have just gotten flat out screwed by the refs and really the league as a whole. So kind of feel bad for them on this one.
Yeah, Benny, do you have any idea how many power plays the Bruins have had, so we can give a little reference up
I
to this?
did not I did not check out the specific amount of power plays, but I believe the Bruins only have two more power plays than the Panthers the whole series.
Okay.
So take that two, only having two more than the Panthers, and the Islanders having seven less than Carolina. I think that's
Yeah.
pretty wild when you look at it that way.
Yeah, it's not like they're a notoriously dirty team by any means. You know, they just play a hard
No.
system style. You know,
Yeah.
it goes against their game to take penalties. You know, it's not
They
their
they've started two games with a penalty against early. And I remember one of them was called like a slash in like the first minute and a half. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, we're gonna call a slash in the first minute of the game. Like, kind of let that stuff go a little bit earlier. And then if it's really getting bad towards the end of the game, you're taking away a scoring chance, something like that, then call it. But I mean, the refs have been brutal in this series.
Yeah, I think Carolina is one of those teams too that do get a couple of extra calls. The league wants a Southern winning cup.
I
You
mean,
know,
yeah, they do. And then Bridgemore, all he does is bitch to the refs. I've seen it
yeah.
three different playoff runs against the Bruins. All he does is bitch to the refs. And I mean, he's obviously liked by the league, had a legendary career. So it's not like he's not in well with the league. It's not like he has a bad relationship with them. And they consistently get a lot of calls. And then they complain a
Mm.
lot. And it's like, guys, like you get every single call in every single series. You have nothing to complain about. Do you guys have anything else to say about this one?
No, I don't got anything else other than I I'm surprised by the amount of penalties, and I thought today I was watching the game earlier, and it was ridiculous. It became a ref show. It was just an absolute ref show, and that sucks to watch. Obviously, in the playoffs, you want the best team to win. Again, I think the Hurricanes have been the better team in my opinion, and I think they deserve to win the series. I mean, they've pushed through all the adversity and been the better team. It just sucks to have the refs, have such a big impact on the game and not let the teams play it out and see who's actually going to win, because the Islanders obviously on paper aren't as good, but they play a really good style of hockey. Like, I'm a fan of the way that they play hard. They have a bunch of grinders. They have a really good goalie. Just kind of sucks. They can't score goals either. That's a huge issue for them.
Yeah.
So you can't score goals. You shouldn't be out of the first round anyway. So yeah, the refs have a huge impact, but I don't know. I'm more excited to get talking about the next series on the docket for us with the Devils and the Rangers.
Yeah, happy you just let us into that transition. This is one that shocked me about the way it's gone in terms of I thought it was going to be if you guys remember in the last episode that we did for the preview, I said it was going to be a home and home type thing where the Devils went home, Rangers went at home, and it's been the opposite way. So obviously I'm surprised by it. But the Rangers power play, holy shit. Holy shit. I know Jack's a huge Kaner guy. So, Jack, if you want to touch upon Kaner and the way that Showtime's been playing in
Oh,
this first round, go right ahead.
I would absolutely love to, Benny. This guy is a legend. He's the best American-born player ever, and this playoff run is going to solidify that they're going to go around. But Kane has been so solid recently. That play where the puck got chipped down to open ice, and then he just threw on the Jets, and then he slowed it down, then went backhand. Like that was a vintage Showtime Patrick Kane play. You know what I mean? The guy has 5 points in the series. He's a +2 overall, which not that they need him to be a plus, honestly, but
Right.
it's just a great contribution overall because they aren't scoring on him. Their power play has been disgusting. Adam Fox is, I don't want to say he's on the same level as Kale McCarr, but I think he's 1B right to him. But overall, I think the series is going to go to the Rangers still. I had them in 6 games. No, actually, I had them in 7 games. but I think they end up getting it done a little early just based off of they're way more experienced than the Devils, and I think Jersey's youth is really going to show down the stretch here the last couple of games. I think they honestly could get it done in the next 2 games, I think.
Yeah, I think I could see that happening too. Honestly, I think that the goaltending change for the Devils was big. The whole series started off terrible for the Devils. They had 2 power plays early in game 1. They don't score, and then the Rangers come down and score a goal, a worm burner on the ice. It's just like the thing going into the series that I talked about on the last pod was the goaltending. It's going to be Vanacek. Can he at least give you half of what your if Shesterkin can give you? He couldn't. Now you have this new kid come in, which I was super impressed with, Schmid from the Devils. Found out last night that he was in the USHL playing juniors, Tier 1 juniors 2 years ago, which is insane that he's now playing at Madison Square Garden in his first playoff game, and was so calm, so cool, was perfect for them as a backbone. They should have known they were going to win the game the whole time. He was unbelievable. I think the Devils, if they win this next game, they're going 7. If they lose, it's done back in New Jersey. It's either going to be 5 or 7, and it's going to be really tough. You're going to have hope that Jack Hughes keeps it up, because he's been one of the best players in the playoffs so far. I've been really impressed with him. I thought he was going to have an issue with being so small, which he's obviously going to grow more. But I mean, yeah, he's been unbelievable. I don't know, Ben, what do you got on it?
Yeah, we feel the exact same way on this one. The Devils have to win tomorrow or it's over in 5. I don't see them, even with them going back home for game 5, I don't see them winning it when they're down 3-1. I think it's just too demoralizing at that point, especially for a young team, as you guys said. The Rangers, it's stunning to me. I know I said this before, saying how experience is so important in the Stanley Cup playoffs more than any other league's playoffs. It's incredible to see the impact that has had on this series. The 2 games in New Jersey, the Devils looked like they didn't know what they were doing, and the Rangers looked like a team that's been there before, and that's exactly what it was. They just completely dominated every facet of the game. The Rangers beat them to every loose puck. They out-hit them. They were out-coached. I know Lindy Ruff is an experienced coach, but he was out-coached in his own building. But the goalie change, as you just said, Camp, that could add a little bit of life and a bit of spark to the Devils that they didn't have beforehand. And I think obviously it already did yesterday with a huge win in overtime for them. But I have the Devils winning tomorrow, winning in New Jersey, and then they'll lose game 6 in MSG, but then I have the Rangers winning in away game 7. So I have the Rangers in 7 still.
Last thing I'll talk about on this series, and then throw it over to Jack for his final thoughts. But I was thinking about it the last couple of days. You look at the Rangers, right? Last year, they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Lightning, who went for their 3rd straight year to the Cup. But what did the Rangers do in the offseason? They added 2 guys, or not even in the offseason, mid-season at the trade deadline. They had Patrick Kane, who's won 3 Stanley Cups, and Vladimir Tarasenko, who's won a cup. So they had 2 more guys that are, have superstar power, that have won 4 Stanley Cups combined, and they just add the experience for those young guys that lost in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. You knew the Rangers had the skill. They're a year older. They're all a year more experienced. And then you add 2 more guys that can go, boys, we've been there. We know what we're doing. Let's just go and do this, go out there. And that's like, you see Patrick Kane, you see Vladimir Tarasenko having big impacts on this series. I don't know why I didn't see them going to the Stanley Cup sooner. I honestly do believe that if they make it out of this, they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Whoever they have to play from our side or the Bruins side of the bracket, it's going to be tough, but I could really see them going to the Cup this year. And they are in for a deep run, I think. So.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, Camp. You hit anything that I was going to say. You got it all, But so the last thing I'll say about the series, though, is the Rangers are definitely going to win. I think honestly they win in 5. I just think they get the next 2. But did you guys see how weird of a goals celebration Dougie Hamilton had last night?
He's a weird guy. We did
He's
say
a
that.
weird guy.
He didn't even celebrate. Like he
was
literally
skating
didn't
around he had a stick taped to his back, and he didn't show any emotion. I have no confidence in them. Like purely, like you can't sell. Like you just won a huge game. You would be down 3-0. You didn't really deserve to win. I don't know. They ought to
Well, their
outshot.
goalie won it for him, but the Devils did
Right? Yeah.
a good job of getting the job done, I thought.
Right, but just I'm not saying you got to do a Patty Kane heartbreaker against Patty Kane. But you got to do something better than like just the no smile, whatever.
Yeah.
No,
that guy's I'll say it. That guy's a boob.
Yeah,
I think Hamilton is such a boob. Oh my God, he's the worst. And I had somebody try to debate me at the bar while they were drinking, so I'm gonna let them off the hook because they were drunk, trying to tell me that Dougie Hamilton was better than McAvoy, right there with Adam Fox, close to Cale Makar. I was like, this guy must have had a million behind him to get to the level to think that Dougie Hamilton is even in the same stratosphere as them. Like, he is such a boob. He's been on 6 different teams in 5 years. Like, this guy just sucks. I hate Dougie Hamilton. What a boob.
So I know that we had a few hot takes, or one hot take, on the Toronto and Tampa series. John said, and I quote, the Maple Leafs would lose 5-1 if they could. If it was in the NHL rules, the Maple Leafs would lose 5-1. They are now up 2-1 in the series. Regardless of whether or not the Maple Leafs deserved to win last night, I think we can all agree that they did not, which, I mean, when's the last time you saw the Maple Leafs do that? Win a playoff game that they didn't deserve to? Kind of like how the Bruins did today, surviving a bit of a flurry early, but showing the mental strength and the fortitude to push through that rough first 10 minutes and then play a great game after that. It's kind of what the Leafs did, but they kind of played like shit throughout the whole game. I'm just trying to give them some ounce of credit, even though I can't. But John, I know that obviously, as I just said, you had a hot take. If you want to take it away from here at all.
I would love to, Ben. I'm eating my own words right now. It's a big moral hit, honestly. I got to just give you some stats because I had some really crazy predictions. So I'm just going to eat it and just be a man about it. Marner's a +4 with 8 points. So it's pretty fucking good. How about you? We need to get into you and Mitch Marner.
I still think Mitch Marner sucks. I still think he sucks. Show up in Game 7. Show up in a Game 7, Mitch. Show up.
That's fine.
Guy looks like Flat Stanley. Remember the old cartoon, Flat Stanley? Mitch Marner looks like Flat Stanley. He's a boob. You want to talk about a boob? Mitch Marner's a boob. He sucks.
You need some facial hair too. Get a little older, Mitch. But anyways, the Morgan Riley's a +5.
Morgan Riley, apparently he's a goon now.
We'll get into that in a second. Matthews +3, Tavares plus whatever. All right, they're all pluses. They're my prediction didn't hold true, but I think I'm not going to be the shoulda, woulda, coulda guy, but I'm going to be the shoulda, woulda, coulda guy right now. And Morgan Riley should have been ejected from that game last night. I thought that was a very cheap hit. He hit a 50-goal score with a cross check at the goal line as he was on his way down. I understand that you can blow tires sometimes and just collisions happen, but the contact he made with the distance from the boards, I thought it was too
terrible hit,
too risky of a play, too risky contact. Because you have to. He knows he doesn't want. Do you think Morgan Riley wants to get hit like that? No, absolutely not. You know what I mean?
Riley doesn't want to take a straight-on hit to the shoulder.
Exactly, and then it's ironic enough that he scores the overtime winner. So my whole 5-1 take is just got shit on with that. That's out. It's that one hurt. That one hurt the heart. But anyways, I still think the Lightning get it done. This team is still not going to get it done this year. They're forever cursed and they stink. I don't care that they had a good couple games. And then yesterday they probably shouldn't have won. And it would have changed the whole series dynamic, honestly, because 2-1, we know that they're really the big games of the 2-1 and then the 3-1 option. So anyways, I still think the Lightning get it done. They're very strong veteran team. I think Pat Maroon is going to do some stupid stuff in the next couple games. He's going to hurt somebody. I don't know. He's a very vocal guy recently. What?
Wait.
What?
So are you basing this take on the idea that Pat Maroon will go out there and hurt someone important, and that's how
no
win this series?
I mean,
it's kind of what you're saying.
I wouldn't mind Marner getting a little injured.
Whoa!
Whoa! Hey! Whoa!
Hey, exactly. But
Exactly.
come on. Let me just, little rant. But whatever. I do think Maroon gets involved physically down the stretch, and it's going to change the series more. He had some fat lady yelling at him in the stands. You hear the announcer talking about it?
Yeah.
He's like, that
Yeah.
fat woman needs to stop yelling or whatever the hell.
I
Like,
know you said
That's
that.
a tough look for them to say, by the way, on a national broadcast.
oh,
It's a
yeah.
tough, tough
Did the
look.
guy actually say that fat woman is yelling at him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
goes,
Oh,
I don't know.
Oh
He goes,
my
he goes,
God.
I don't know if it's a man or a woman.
oh yeah. Yeah.
It's like, whoa, like.
Yeah, he definitely got let go.
Yeah, cool your jets on that one. Honestly, I think that kind of game last night was a reason. The reason I think the Leafs are going to win the series is that was a game you would never see them in the last 7 years that they've made the playoffs and been bumped in the first round because they're a bunch of idiots. But that was the first time that they've won a game where it's like, wow, they didn't deserve to win that, and they somehow pulled it out. Ryan O'Reilly in front of the net with like 20, 30 seconds left. Unbelievable play. It's a drill you see. We talked about it yesterday. Sidney Crosby does all the time where they work on being in front of the net, corralling rebounds with their foot, kicking their stick and putting it in. That was just unbelievable. Like, not to freak out, not to overreact or get shaky in front of that. That's Ryan O'Reilly showing his experience. Gets the puck, kicks it up to his foot, and finds a hole through Vasilevsky, who's the best goalie in the world. And then, to get in the overtime and do it, they rolled with the punches. They know that their team's not as big and as tough as I think the Lightning are. The Lightning have more experience, and they show that they can play with them. I think this would be a huge win for a series for them. And if they do, I would imagine it's going to be them versus the Rangers in the finals. I think they could beat the Bruins. Or in the Eastern Conference Finals. So, yeah, I think that's a big win. I still think the Lightning, the Leafs win in 7. And Ben, what do you got?
Yeah, I still got the Leafs in 6. I think that they lose tomorrow in Tampa, but then I think they go back to Toronto and win, and then go back to Tampa and win again. So I think that the Leafs are, as you just said, they're a completely different team. They do scare me in the next round. Like, they horrify me. I think that the Leafs are going to be a really tough out this year, and I think they're just due. And I think they're another team that gets every single call, and they complain about every single call. They're literally the Canadian Carolina Hurricanes. They're the same thing. They just complain and complain and complain. Their fan base is so obnoxious, and they expose themselves for knowing as little of hockey as they do. But yeah, I just think the Leafs are finally going to get out of the first round. And as you just said, Camp, I am horrified of them.
I hope they don't, Ben. I hope they don't.
I hope they don't either.
Yeah, but that wraps up kind of the Eastern Conference, right?
Yeah, that'll be it for the Eastern Conference. We're going to get to the West now. Let's start off with, this has been my favorite series to watch. Well, that's not true. My favorite series to watch has been the Bruins, obviously.
Yeah.
Really? You like the Bruins? No way.
If you guys want to continue doing this podcast without me, you're more than welcome. I'm actually going to leave the Zoom call.
Go talk to yourself.
We done here? We're going to continue recording the podcast.
Go ahead.
Okay, so this has been my second favorite series to watch in the West. So let's dive into Colorado and Seattle. It's been high flying hockey, entertaining hockey.
Ben, did you say second favorite series in the West, and it started with your favorite series?
That's what I was going to
What's
say.
your
This guy's
favorite
all over the
series?
place.
Well,
This is like,
my favorite series in the West has been LA and Edmonton, but they're playing right now. So I want to see if they score before we talk.
sorry, you just put my brain like a total, like that was a lot of layers for me there.
Oh yeah, my brain's in a blender right now, but I'm just here for a good time, Ben. So keep going. I'm excited. Go ahead. That's kind of has to edit this. This is going to be awesome.
I'm on track now. I believe we were talking about Colorado and Seattle, if I'm not mistaken. First game ever in Seattle playoff history last night. That was interesting. An electric game, really high scoring. This whole series has been, for that fact. Both goalies suck. I think that's something that we kind of expected going in. Wasn't going to be the best goalie play. It was going to be more offensively based. Nate McKinnon, though, he's just completely taken over. Him and Makar and Rantanen, for that fact. They're a three-headed monster there, but McKinnon's on another level right now.
Yeah, just like with the Bruins. Bruins started off real slow. They didn't look good to start. Same thing with the Avs. I thought the Avs, they got upset first game. I was like, holy shit, what the fuck's going on here? And then they came back out, looked great after that. Nate McKinnon turned it on. He turned it on last night in that game, and he was unbelievable. Back to Nate McKinnon stuff you'd imagine out of him, one of the top 5 players in the league and in the world. He turned it back on. The goaltending, like you said, hasn't been great. I'm excited to see, how the Kraken are going to come back. Now they're down 2-1 in the series, right? So I'm excited to see how they bounce back. They got a lot of depth over there too, so should be interesting. I did not see the series going like this though. It's been pretty back and forth the whole time. What do you got, Jack?
Yeah, I was super surprised about Seattle, like even winning, to be honest. I had them getting swept. They're far more experienced than I originally had thought when I took that take. Yanni Gord is a sneaky great center. I don't know if you guys have any opinion on him, but he got taken in the expansion draft, and just because Tampa obviously has too many studs, but that guy is really he's legit. But overall, the Avalanche have really just shown how their true colors and how great of a team they are recently. And I think they end up getting the next two, and it's probably over from there.
I really like you brought up Yanni Gord. He's the kind of guy that if he were still on Tampa, they would be destroying the Leafs right now. Like if they still had that much depth at forward, the Leafs would be golfing right now. But I mean, I think Seattle, I expected them to go 6. I still expect them to go 6. I think they'll win tomorrow. But it is a little concerning that Colorado has seemingly found their game to this point and are just buzzing all over the ice. But I mean, you saw it last night. They were up by a couple of goals. Seattle comes back and ties it. Game before that, Seattle's up by a couple of goals. Colorado comes back and ties it. So this might be one of the most entertaining games or series to watch in the first round this year, based purely on the offense. It's kind of like if you were trying to get a casual fan more interested in the league, I would have them watch this series and just watch the high flying offense.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. It's honestly just the whole something about Seattle. I wasn't like super intrigued with this series before it even started. I thought it was going to be over quick, but like you said, the back and forth of it all and the amount of goals scored it's caught me off guard, and it's just really enjoyable to watch. But I still think they lose in the next 2 games. But
Camp, what do you have the series ending at?
I don't know. I don't see the Avs losing again either. They just have been looked way too dominant the last 2 games. But I'll say it's either 5 or 6. No way it gets a 7. If it gets a 7,
It's not
then
going
all
7.
are off. But if it I'd probably say 5 too. I'd probably say 5. Avs done in 5 to win the next 2 and get the hell out of there.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Seattle losing in 6 games. So Colorado will win in 6 games. I don't see Colorado winning tomorrow. I think Seattle, it was a pretty wild atmosphere. I don't know if you guys saw the whole game or just the beginning of it or whatever you did or did not see. That's a crazy atmosphere. Like it was really crazy. And I think if you watch obviously the Seattle Seahawks and the Seattle Mariners at all, you know that they have pretty wild fan bases too. So obviously it's a lot of the same people, right? Just watching hockey now. So I think that Seattle has a sneaky, crazy group of fans.
yeah, Benny, do you think hockey? Not to get too off topic, but do you think hockey arenas and fan bases play a bigger factor or less of a factor than football?
I think less,
Less, but to what degree? Do you think it's
a
give me a
lot,
percent? Oh, really? Like
a lot.
50% less?
I think I think a crazy crowd in football can neutralize a great team. It does not matter what a crowd's doing against a great away team in the NHL. You're just not going to stop them. Like
Right.
the better team's going to win. You saw it with Nashville when they played Pittsburgh in the Cup final. You saw it with Chicago when they played against the Bruins in the Cup final. You saw it even with like San Jose when they played Pittsburgh in the Cup final. You saw it with Rangers fans. They don't know shit. They're losers. They know absolutely nothing about hockey, but they're crazy. Did it affect the Kings? No, they still kick their ass. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that it's cool when fans are going crazy, but I don't think it has much of an impact.
I gotcha. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys agree with that at all.
No, now that you put it like that, I think that was a lot of losses with some great fan bases behind it, on the other side. So I think you're right.
Yeah. If you think about it too, like on defense, team that's away, or so when a home team's on defense in the NFL, you like going to Kansas City,
Yeah.
they're just so loud they can't even hear their headset in their helmet. Like it's got to be
Right.
absolutely insane. So I'd probably agree with that on that one. But
Mhm.
I also do think a wild fan base. It's tough. It is tough to go into. Think about Montreal. Really, really tough building to go
This is
into the
insane.
playoffs and beat. It's just so loud in there. They say the old Boston Garden, the balcony used to be hanging over the glass. People still talk about it. The building's been gone for 35 years. People still talk
Mhm.
about how crazy it was in there. So, I mean, it's tough. Any game going into an away building with a lot of fans like that is got to be pretty tough. So, good question. Though. I like that.
I did like the question. It was a good one. Let's move on to Minnesota and Dallas. They just completed game 4 no less than 30 minutes ago upon us recording this. Dallas just tied it up 2-2 now, going back to Dallas. What did you guys have before this series? Just so we're clear. I had Minnesota in 7. What did you guys have?
I had Minnesota in 7 as well.
I believe I had Dallas in 7.
Okay, so I'm gonna stick with mine with Minnesota in 7. I've been very impressed with what we've seen so far. One of the 2 games that Minnesota lost in this series, I don't want to blame one guy, but it was because of Marc-Andre Fleury, who I said would have a major impact in a good way on this series, but he was atrocious. I think they're going to stick with Gustafson the rest of the way, obviously. Fleury was just terrible. And there's only so much you can do with a bad goalie. It's not like they're the Colorado Avalanche who can carry Grubauer to the cup, or Chicago who can carry Crawford to the cup. But they've looked great with Gustafson playing. They've only lost 1 game, obviously, with that being today. They showed a lot of heart down the stretch. They were down by 2, brought it within 1, almost came back. Minnesota's just a never say die type of squad, and that's why I like them so much. So I'm going to stick with them in 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Dallas. In my 7, I think they're gonna go 7, but I think Dallas pulls it off. Just looking right now at a couple statistics, as I'm a stats guy, math guy, not a big deal. Tyler Seguin has 3 goals in 4 games. He's been downhill. His career has been kind of downhill for the last little bit, but 3 goals in 4 games, 2 tonight to win that game. I think it comes down to goaltending for me. Obviously, I'm a goalie, and I always say goalie, but I think Jake Ottinger, Gustafson for Minnesota's played unbelievable, but Ottinger is just unbelievable. That guy can steal you a game. He can make 65 saves in a game. You saw last year, game 7 in the biggest moment against Calgary in a tough building, made 65 saves. And they end up losing the game, but still unbelievable. I think that like even tonight, they beat the Wild tonight 3-2, and he had 32 saves, math guy, 32 saves. The Stars only had 24 shots on goal. They got outplayed. I don't know if you guys watched any of the game. Stars got outplayed. They got a really lucky first goal, and they still were winning. So I just think that Jake Ottinger, you'd be dumb to bet against him. So I'm calling Ben dumb. Yeah, I'm still gonna go Stars in 7.
So I had Minnesota in 7, and I'm gonna stick with it.
You want to change it so bad. I can tell on your face that you want to change it.
I want to change it. I do, but I'm the man of my word, and I got to stick with 7 games here. I think 7 games, Minnesota wins. Kaprizov has 1 goal.
Speaking
And,
of, he missed a wide open net today.
he missed some
wide open net in the second period.
He missed some time, man. He's probably just lacking a little confidence or something. I'm sure eventually, if he's fully healthy now, he'll figure it out. But if he's not fully healthy, obviously it's going to be a problem for them. But I still have them in 7 games. Unfortunately, our Joe Pavelski over under tipping that is going to have to get.
Well, that got more nullified than we lost the bet because he was murdered.
Oh man,
talk about the more I looked at that hit when I initially saw it, I was like, what a terrible hit. If you really watch it, it's a good hit. It's a really good hockey hit. He just cleaned him out.
Yeah.
tough luck too. I mean, in that Vegas Shark series, off the face, off the goal, that he took the high stick or the hit to the head
The high
that
stick
caused
and hit to the head that led to the power
that
play.
led to the 4 goals on a power play to win that series. So he's had a tough go of it. That's unfortunate for him. He is an animal in front of the net. It would be pretty tough for the Stars if he doesn't end up coming back at any point. But yeah, that guy is unreal in front of the net.
Yeah, he's so good. It's gonna be a big loss for them. He's not traveling with the team because he's clearly concussed. But you know, yeah.
He is clearly concussed. He
But
got
anyways,
one of the hardest hits I've ever seen.
the more I look at that hit, I over and over again, like you said, man, it's definitely a clean hit. But then more and more I look at him like, why did he think he was not going to get hit here? Like you're cutting to the front of the net, buddy. With like, what are you doing? But anyways, stuff happens and it's all right. I hope he comes back and is healthy, but he's turned into the Chuck Liddell of NHL chins.
Yeah, he's just getting knocked out. He really is.
I'm sure he's one concussion away probably from that maybe being it. But anyways,
honestly, he should probably consider just like not based on merit because he is still very good, just based on pure health. He should consider being done after this year. I know that he's still hanging on to the idea of never winning a cup, and he's on obviously a really good team and a team that has a chance to make it that far, given how far they've gone in recent years, and obviously in one of those years making it all the way to the final. But Jack just said it. He's always hurt, and he's always getting serious injuries too. It's not like a nagging injury. He's always getting like honestly knocked out, and it's just terrible. It's like really sad to watch. He should consider walking away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. What's the next series we got here, Ben? We going up to Edmonton or
Not quite yet, but a little bit of an update on that. The Kings did just score, so they are up 1-0 in Game 4. Obviously, they're leading 2-1, but we'll touch upon that a little bit later. Let's get into Vegas and Winnipeg. I'll just say I'm not wrong in terms of who I think is going to win the series, but I should have given Winnipeg a game. I said that it would be a sweep. Obviously not a sweep, and an overtime win yesterday for Vegas. So it's not like they're just walking all over them. However, to me, that says more about Vegas than Winnipeg. Whatever. I think Vegas should be manhandling these guys. But one guy I really want to give some credit to, Jack Eichel, is insane. And I have a great story of watching Game 3 of this series yesterday with Adam. We're sitting down, we're watching the game, talking about hockey. And I say, you know what? I really like Jack Eichel. I think he's very good. I'm really happy that he found a winning culture to be a part of. And Cam goes, I don't think he's that good. I think he kind of stinks. No less than a second and a half later, Jack Eichel scores on the power play.
The puck was out. They're on the power play. Puck's at the point with, I think it was Pietrangelo who had the puck. It could have been Phil Kessel. I don't know who was in the bumper, but puck, I say, this guy stinks. Boom to the bumper, boom to Eichel, boom, one-timer. All one-touch passes back to the net.
Unbelievable.
Like within of 2 seconds at most. Like, I swear to God. And we both just were like are you kidding me? I was like, this. So then I'm like, well, he's not scoring again anyways. That was whatever. Boom, like, next period, another one. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why are my lights turning blue in here? This is ridiculous. It's not, I don't know. Yeah, it was a tough go for the kid, unfortunately.
It's blue for the way he felt after fucking Eichel scored. He was just blue.
Yeah, listen, you said that Winnipeg was going to be done in 4. I said that I was going to give him 1 because of Hellebuck. Hellebuck again has been unbelievable. That did happen. I was right on. Thanks for coming. Yeah, no, I could see this going longer than 5 though. Like I really do. That game yesterday, obviously Vegas was the better team, but Connor Hellebuck, man, you can't count out a hot goalie or one of the best goalies in the world. You just like can't do it. It's playoff time. You have to know that's possible. Mm-hmm. And they do have a lot of depth. I do think that it's a good team. So I think that they could steal another one. And if they go 2-2, with Vegas. Why can't they take another one? Like you just don't know. So I honestly could see this going a little bit longer than that. Maybe 6 Vegas and 6, but that's the most I'll say. I don't think Winnipeg wins this. So
Yeah, I had Vegas in 5, gentleman sweep before, and I'm gonna stick with it. Eichel, I'm so happy he's performing well. It's been just great to watch him score in the playoffs. Like he's been in the league for almost 10 years, and it's just now he's 3 playoff goals.
It is crazy to think about that he's been in the league for 8 years at this point.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Wild.
Dude, I'm sure there's some like scrubs that we can't even think of names of that have more playoff points than Jack Eichel.
Yeah.
Kind of like it's like what the hell? But I think like you said, Hollebuck's great. He could steal more than a game. That's how good he is. So I'm just gonna stick to my word of a gentleman sweep, but he's a great goalie, and we'll see how it goes down the stretch here.
They're gonna lose in 5. Winnipeg is not winning another game. Vegas is too good. They have a terrible coach. But as a team, they're too good. Bruce Cassidy, once again, my friend, take a shower. You never look like you took a shower before you show up to work, which is just disgusting. First off, take a shower. Your hair's always greasy. At least wash your hair. Like put your hair in a sink or something because you're just gross.
Some water in the face, Penny. Something.
He's a piece of shit, is what he is. I don't like him at all. Not a good guy. I don't think his players respect him. I don't think his wife respects him. So
Tell us how you
Yo.
really feel here, Ben. Whoa, buddy, relax. You don't even know the guy. You never even met him.
he's a
Jeez.
loser.
All right, now let's get into the last series we're going to talk about tonight. Talking about the Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid's team, and the Los Angeles Kings with Anze Kopitar. Boys, I don't know if you've gotten to watch this series, but it's actually been pretty interesting watching the Kings shut down Connor McDavid. First 2 games, I think he had 1 point through 2 games, which is insane. He had 1 assist through 2 games where he had obviously like 150 points this year, almost 160 and 60-something goals. The guy's been unbelievable. And then you see him, he gets into game 3 and he scores 2 unbelievable snipes on a power play within, I think, 2 or 3 minutes. And Edmonton, keeps fighting for another day. It's interesting. You said, Ben, right? The Kings are now up 1-0.
1-0 in the game, yes, but 2-1 the series.
2-1 in the series for the Kings.
Kings are up 2-1.
Yep. So I've been actually interested to see this. It's good to see Anze Kopitar and Philip Deneau trying to shut down McDavid, and I thought that was going to be the highlight of the series. Is can they keep him at bay? You hear a lot of players in the NHL talk about Philip Deneau as being one of the best shutdown guys, and obviously Anze Kopitar's whole career has been right behind Patrice Bergeron. Sometimes, in my opinion, is better than Patrice Bergeron.
Okay. No.
Listen, please, Ben. I'm talking.
Thank you. Nope,
Listen,
it's not your turn anymore, sir. It is not your turn anymore. So you just so we got 2 of you now.
He's not even playing. He's not playing.
He hasn't played a game in the playoffs. But no, Anze Kopitar.
No. You did not let me give my thought. So what's better? 1 Selke or 5? Soon to be 6.
Would you rather have 2 Stanley Cups or 1?
I wish Bergie got to play with John Quick to gift him 2 cups.
Case closed. 2 Stanley Cups.
Oh, please. Oh, please. If Bergie didn't have to play with Tuukka Rask, who sucks.
And a Conn Smythe.
He had a Conn Smythe, but that's okay.
Rask had a Conn Smythe?
No, he just, I meant a Vezina, sorry. He had a Vezina.
Oh, please. They started handing out Vezinas in the mid-2000s like they were candy.
Yeah, definitely. They've been handing out the Selkies like that, too.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
But anywho,
guy from Montreal. Yeah.
Those we said this yesterday, Camp. The Selkie's the new Hart. It's the new Hart trophy.
I never said it.
Basically,
like that.
I remember you agreeing with me.
It sounds like something a Bergeron homer would say, dude.
Yep, 100%. This is the only issue I have with Tipsy Tailgate Media. Homers. Bunch of homers. Have no idea what's outside of Boston. Unbelievable, this guy. No, I think that Anze Kopitar.
Pretty good insight to the series.
Listen. I got the talking stick again, pal. Let me. All right, bud. Thanks,
Is
bud.
there a way to mute you in this session?
Yeah. No, you wish. I'm coming back, and you don't know what to do, baby. You don't know what to do. All right, Anze Kopitar and Philip Deneau have been unbelievable. Yes. It's really tough to match Connor McDavid and put him on a line where they're not going to be on the ice, right? It's really tough. And when they win a bunch of their faceoffs, it's tough to gain possession of the puck with those guys. So they know what they're doing. They've shut guys down before. Anze Kopitar's done it his whole career. Philip Deneau's done it in his short time right now. I'm excited to see the rest of the series. I think Ben might have been right on this one. I think I went with Edmonton. You can't really bet against Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl unless they somehow turn it real on and figure out how to get McDavid away from those two guys. I think they're going to have a tough time. And I really think that it's going to be an issue for Edmonton coming the offseason. If they don't win the series and they're out in the first round to this team, I think they might have to figure something out, because that's going to be tough for them to have the two guys leading the league in points and miss and be out of the playoffs in the first round. So I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I as you just said, Philip Deneau and Anze Kopitar, they're the reason I picked the Kings to win this series. You have to match up. Sometimes, you look at it, part of the reason outside of, oh my God, 2-0 LA now, actually, they just scored again. You look at certain series and the way they've gone. What, John? What's so funny? What's making you laugh?
It's over. McDavid is moving on.
I still think the Oilers might come back to win this game. I'm not ruling them out quite yet. But you look at teams that consistently win in the playoffs. The Bruins, they go deep. They have one of the best two-way centers ever, probably the best. The Kings, when they were dominant, obviously they had Kopitar. The Blues, when they won, they had O'Reilly. Sid does not get enough credit for his two-way game, obviously with the Penguins. I think that's what's really most important come April, is that you can play on both sides of the puck, both sides of the rink. So that's why I picked the Kings. I'm going to stick with the Kings to beat the Oilers. I don't think the Oilers are as well built as the Kings are. So that's why I went with LA winning the series in 7 games. I'm going to stick to it.
I had Edmonton in 6, Ben, and I thought it was a smart pick because they have the best player in the world and the second best player in the world, and not a bad goalie, not a terrible goalie, not a great goalie, but they have a caliber enough to beat the Kings, I thought. But anyways, this has been a really bad series for them. They're like you said, they're down 2-0. I'm gonna now change
down 2-1. Oh, in the game, you're saying
in the game, down 2-0. I think they lose this game. I think they lose in 5 games.
Wow.
I think David is, I don't know where he's gonna go, but they have to do something. If they can't win with this team, they're not winning with any team. The guy had 153 points this year. It's probably the most impressive season since Mario Lemieux was in the league, honestly, in my opinion. But I don't know. Draisaitl, honestly, he's once again, he's more playoff points than McDavid so far. But McDavid had those 2, those are like hero goals. It's like when you have to set the settings down on rookie, to score 2 goals to tie it. But it's like
when you're down by 2 goals with a minute left in a Chell game, you change it to rookie.
Exactly. And that's how he is out there. But they clearly just don't have the depth, and this Kings team's a really bad matchup for them. I didn't see it coming, but hey, they lose, and then McDavid's gone this summer. I think he's done losing.
I'm gonna say something that honestly Tipsy Tailgate needs put out on social media right now. So let's listen in here, folks. John Tortorella said over the summer, actually it was last season, I think, when he was on TNT, he said Connor McDavid is scoring 150 points, but they're losing in the playoffs. He needs to change up his game. And people were pissed with him for saying that, because they're like, he's scoring all these points. No, John Tortorella was right. Like, you can't be scoring all these points. It's not about that. That's not what it's about at all. He needs to change his game. He needs to learn how to play a full 200-foot game. And that doesn't mean getting the puck in the defensive zone and skating at 200 feet and blowing by everybody and scoring. It means learning how to play defense, learning how to play the right way, learning how to commit to the D zone, playing a full game, learning how to pass a puck with other people other than basically Draisaitl. Like, whenever they need a goal, you have to hope that McDavid's going to carry it the whole way, burn everybody and put it in by himself, or he's going to pass it back door on the power play to Draisaitl for a one-timer. He needs to learn how to play with his team more, probably lead more, and he's got to stop just going for as many points as possible and actually use this experience, the time, to gain better experience in the D zone. it's tough. I don't think when he came into the league, he didn't really have a somebody like look up to on his team that could teach him the most important stuff. And it's not about points. I would hope that Wayne Gretzky's hopefully talking to him and telling him that. But he's got to change up his game. It's not about the amount of points you're going to get in the season. It's about learning how to play the right way and learning how to win. Because in the playoffs, when you're playing all the best players and all the best defensemen and teams that are learning how to shut you down because you're playing them 7 games in a row, you need to change it up. And he's got to change it up.
Yeah, and I agree with you completely. The Kings actually just scored again. Anze Kopitar just made it 3-0 here in the first period with about a minute and a half left. So it's looking like they're about to go back to Edmonton down 3-1. So I might have to alter my pick to Kings in 6. But I have to agree with every piece that you just had to offer, Camp. Like, he's got to change his game. There was one point in the year where he had like 80 points halfway through the year, and he was a +2 on the season. That's ridiculous to have that many points, to be that productive offensively, and you're a +2. It's kind of embarrassing.
Right.
It really is embarrassing.
That's the thing that I had said to you. I remember talking to you about that. I mean, how are you at 80 points? Nobody's even within 30 basically pointed to you except Draisaitl, and you're a +2. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? That either he's only scoring on the power play, which is an issue, which obviously their power play is 30%. So he is scoring on the power play a ton.
Which makes the team too reliant on the power play.
Way too reliant on that. And the second thing is then when you're playing 5-on-5, you're really not doing that much. Last thing is they gotta find a goalie. Like they gotta stop trying to like find some diamond in the rough, like guy. Oh yeah, we're gonna give him a chance. No, go get Jonathan Quick. They should have gone and gotten Jonathan Quick. Go find. Every team is finding these goalies except them and the Leafs, the 2 teams that need the goalies the most. The 2 teams that are goalies away, basically goalies away, and a little bit of depth maybe, or a little bit of grit away from Stanley Cup Finals, and they're not going and doing it. Just go do it. Get rid of somebody and go get rid of somebody. Just anybody. Get rid of them and get a goalie. That's it.
I'm not saying I want the Bruins to keep both their goalies, but I mean, how do you not look at a team like the Bruins where we saw Swayman's stats today, Vezina caliber numbers on the season? He's essentially the backup. How is a team like the Edmonton Oilers with all these pieces not making the Bruins and Cam Neely and I'm forgetting our GM's name. Don Sweeney, such a boob. Why are they not making Sweeney and Neely an offer they can't refuse? Like, if I'm the Oilers, I'm offering the Bruins like 2 first-round picks for Jeremy Swayman. I'm doing it. And I don't care what anyone's reaction is. You have to do it. You have to get some kind of consistent elite goaltending, which is what's holding them back in my mind.
100%.
Yeah, I agree with you.
What do you think, John? Yeah.
They're just the goalie. What you said about Jonathan Quick was a really good idea, and then I just wish that Quick had a bit of a better Quick on the Oilers. I think is a crazy run, and I would love to see Quick versus LA first round, but
that would have been insane.
I mean,
would have been so.
Another guy you can look at. I mean, we talked about him earlier in the pod about Marc-Andre Fleury not playing great against for the Wild that game. But I mean, Marc-Andre Fleury, another guy that's proven that he can win you a Stanley Cup when he gets hot. Go to Darcy Kemper, won a Stanley Cup last year with the Caps, and the Caps were not good. Try to trade for him, maybe. Like, God forbid, hope that happens. You have the Leafs have a bunch of goalies that are not very good. They could have done the same shit. Like, look for somebody that has the experience that can get you there. It's nuts that they're not. Arizona's goalie is really good. They were trying to tank for Bedard. Get their goalie, or Malkin, or however you say his name. I'm not an English guy, I'm a math guy. I said it earlier. Like, go for a goalie that you know is good and can steal you some hockey games. And they don't want to do it. So at this point, it's kind of what they're getting what they're fucking, served, right? They're making their bed. They want to sleep in it. Fine. You're just not going to win a Stanley Cup. Like, that's how it is.
Yep. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I don't respect Edmonton. I just don't. Like, at all.
It would be awesome for them for Connor McDavid to go deep in the playoffs and make a run. It sucks that, they aren't going to get to do that. We're not going to get to see that. That's something I really, really want to see. And kind of sucks. Another team in their province that I think they're in the same province. I think they're both in Alberta. Calgary has 2 very good goalies. Get one of them. Like, it's just I can go on for about 5 hours, but I feel like we're kind of coming to the end of the pod right here.
Yeah.
This is the last series in the night.
Yeah. Listen, guys. I think we got some really good stuff here. I think for the most part, we're kind of sticking with where we were at, or we're already seemingly correct. For example, the Bees. I think I'm going to be correct on the Kings, given how well this game's going and where this series is trending at this point. If there's one team that you have a lot of confidence in, though, that you think is going to blow it, let's all give an answer real quick. One team that you were really confident in that you think may blow it, who is it? Mine's the Leafs, because they're the Leafs.
All right. I wasn't confident in the Leafs. So, oh man, maybe Carolina. I could see Carolina losing.
That would be a pretty bad choke. I like that pick.
Yeah, maybe we'll go with them.
Definitely not confident in the Devils as much as I was, but this last game was helpful and make me a little bit more confident in it. I'm not for some reason I'm not that confident. I'm not that confident in Vegas.
I knew you were going to say Vegas.
I think they're going to make it out of this. I think they're going to make it out of this round, but I'm not as confident in them as I thought. Like, I thought they were going to the Stanley Cup Finals. Like, I thought they were that good. And now I don't know why. I kind of don't have that feeling about them, really, honestly. So I probably should have picked Dallas as the one I'm not as confident in, but here we are.
Ooh, Vegas. Eichel. I want to see Eichel round 2. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Eichel, all right, guys. I like the content. I love the way the playoffs are going. We'll be doing another episode soon of a round 1 Stanley Cup playoffs recap, and then a round 2 projections as well. So we look forward to doing that. We'll see you guys later.
All right. Peace out, fellas.